This is the drawing for project 5-17. I'm going to open up a new template, and I've changed computers, so I am looking for the drawing. I don't have the second folder. Let's go ahead with the landscape. You can try different sizes, and you're going to be able to manipulate these a little bit. But I want to introduce the sheet format. So before I insert any of the model, I'm just going to right-click and edit sheet format. Also, this being 2020, they've added it to the tabs, and if it's not showing up on your tabs, you can right-click in that area and navigate down to the tabs, and right now everything looks like it's on. So if we edit the sheet format, that's going to put us into the background, and I'm just going to take away everything. Alright, so that was all the information, and we can go through and pick up some of those items. Alright, so by way of introduction, all of that was set up for our annotations. If I go into Note, I'm just going to do a quick initials, and I want to go find the file name. So over on the notes, if I link to property, we're going to be going to the model found here, and since that hasn't produced anything yet, I can't go into any, we haven't created any custom, but I can't go into the custom, so let's just pick up the file name. And it goes into the to the sheet, and when we escape to get out of that, now that I'm in the sheet, nothing's going to show up for that file name till we actually insert something. So if I come over to the drawing, I can go into Model View, or we can come over to the View palette, and in the View palette, I think we'll go with the View palette this time. And I'm going to bring in the slider assembly. Alright, so all of the available views. And we can grab the isometric. And then I have the choice of either Control-C and Control-V to create another view, or we can come over to the View palette again and drag in the isometric exploded. So notice that in the exploded view, the checkbox is created for the show in exploded state, and in the standard view, well, it's not checked. All right, and then we're going to want to put some balloon callouts on this, and our little title edition didn't get very big, so let's edit the sheet format one more time. See if I can find that that box. There we go. So double clicking in the area, and I'm just going to stretch that out a little bit, give it a little more room. And then in the upper right, we can exit the sheet format. So the sheet format is actually underneath, and I can't select any of that information while I'm working in this this top sheet. So let's go ahead and create our table for the bill of materials. So right-clicking, coming down to Tables, and then we'll go to the bill of materials, and we'll bring in the standard. All right, so there's a few more things in here than what I really need. So if I highlight the description again, we'll just delete that column. And that'll shrink up the bill of materials a little bit. So if I wanted to use that again, we can go to the Save As, and this is going to be my SLD BOM TBT, basically the table format for the item. I believe that I have those in my Dropbox 2020 system files. And wherever you're saving this, if it defaults to the SolidWorks Corp, program files, SolidWorks Corp, all the way down, go ahead and put it in there. But if you've created a template to go across computers, or a folder location for the templates to go across multiple computers, this would be a good place to have it in one of the cloud storage. So this is going to be my bill of materials, and we'll just make this as simple. Alright, so next time I'll be able to load or access that. Alright, when I go into the balloons, we're looking for the annotation, and we're going to auto balloon, and we'll go through and just see what looks good. So everything on the top, not so much. Everything on the bottom, everything to the left, that doesn't look terrible. Everything to the right, just running out of room, but have enough. So I'll probably leave it there for now. We can always go back and adjust. And since there are no layers at this point, we're kind of just going to have whatever we have here. Alright, so if I right click, and what am I looking for? The spacing. I'll move these out a little bit anyway. Okay, so make a few adjustments. Sizing isn't too bad. It did pick up an alignment. So this will not move up and down, but it will move left and right. I don't really want that alignment, so I'm going to right click, go to the alignment, and break the alignment. And then if I wanted to, I can make this a little bit bigger, and it will take up a little bit more of the view, or we can reverse. Oh, nice ghost image there. That's interesting. Wonder what's going on with my video card for that to show up. Alright, so let's go to a custom scale, see what it looks like at half size. Well, we lost a bit of the bill of material, or the balloon callouts. So let's try one more with the custom scale, and since that was still a little big, not the model text scale. Should be one more. Okay, so since that's not cooperating, have the exploded. Let's go look at the properties, hide show. Nope, don't want to clean any of those out. Alright, so either that changed for 2020 or I'm looking in the wrong place, but under the custom scale there was a user defined. So let's go back to 1/5 and we'll see if I can sort that out. Okay, so we already looked at the properties, and then the sheet scale, and edit sheet, and we're in a locked focus, so I'm not sure what that one means. So let's go to user defined, and if I were to make this 1:3, and we'll see what that looks like. Alright, so that one updated. And if we go back to the sheet scale, then that one will update. We need to grab that magnet line, pull that out just a little bit, and if I need to, we'll reposition a little bit just so the lines aren't so strange, and then that one will actually look a little better on that side. Maybe a couple of these. Alright, so you can adjust it to what looks good. And if I drop it away from one of the parts, if it gets lost, it's going to go to that question mark because it doesn't know what I'm pointing to. Alright, so that looks reasonably good. Let's go ahead and add the next sheet. Alright, so it comes back with our A size. And notice here's the slider. Alright, so that is where the information is coming from for this title block. The associativity to the files, to the reference information, building those out. So let's go ahead and insert our parts. And if I'm staying with the view palette, then we'll go to the base. So one of the reasons that, well, let's see, what do we want? Probably the top view and a right side view. There it went to projected view for me. And then we'll drag out for the isometric. And position that a little bit better. Alright, so one of the reasons I don't like the standard A size is that all of this sheet will eventually modify it, but this takes up a good portion of our real estate and doesn't really add a whole lot to our at this point usable information. We'd like to make that a little bit more functional. So I'm just going to start grabbing some parts and bring those in. So the front view, we're going to need, well, we might not need the right side, but we'll probably need the bottom view. And I missed the isometric, so we'll go back in, select the view, pick up the projected view, drag out, move that off to the side. We're going to go back and change the scales a little bit later. All right, picking up the next. And I think I'll just work my way through at this point. And if I remember correctly, there was a top. Okay, and go ahead and hit the check mark. Alright, so we're just going to keep repeating this process till we've brought in all of the parts. There is a way to bring in multiple parts on the sheet. It's a little tricky with the naming, so I don't recommend it. Keeping track of the having more than one part on a sheet, so we'll maybe avoid that one. Alright, so the pen. So this would be a case, the pen's small enough that I wouldn't necessarily need one whole sheet for that pen. And if it was a standard dowel pen, if we found a part number, we would just build that into the bill of materials and make it a purchase part. But if it's something we have to manufacture, then we'll need to create it. So the pen's short. I'm going to go ahead and grab the drive pen. Alright, so I'm going to probably go ahead and change that view. I know these are really small compared. And then we can go to the driver wheel. Keep adding our views. Go to the check mark. And let's see, there should be one more. Well, I lost count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we should have 10 sheets. So that leaves the arm, and can't really tell what we're getting there, so let's go ahead and bring that in. Don't think I'm going to need another view, so we'll go ahead with those. Alright, so that gets my sheet all set up. Let's go ahead and change some scales. This one might be able to take the 1:1. Right, so got a little bit of an interference there, and then if we go back to a custom scale for the isometric view, that'll buy us a little room. Alright, so I'm just working back and forth until I get these in a state that we're going to be able to start our dimensioning. And the pens, 1:1. Alright, so this would be a point where I would like one of these to be the end view. So if I do this first, then it won't, the warning about the dimensions. Well, I moved it one way, so let's go to the top view. There we go, that looks a little better. And since we have the room on the drawing, let's go ahead and make it 2:1. Alright, center marks went in automatically, so that looks pretty good. Don't know that we needed an isometric view, but since I missed it, or I threw it off into space somewhere, we'll go ahead and put one in. And pick up our scale, make it a little more readable, and still that one's coming out a little bit big, so this one can drop back to 2:1. Alright, so we're just kind of manipulating this as we go, and I'll go through the rest of the sheets making the same adjustments to whatever looks good.